Most of humanity's ideas of space travel are in a way rather simple. You put people in some form of container, stick a rocket on the end of it, and set it off. Burn fuel to move the container through space to where you want to land. In practice this is complicated, but we've got the basic idea nailed down. However, is there a better way? I'll begin with a brief explanation of this idea from Fritz Zwicky, the wonderful and eccentric astronomer who coined the idea. He said, "Astronautics, strictly speaking, will be concerned with voyages to other stars. Remarkably enough, to achieve such feats, we might not even have to leave the Earth. It would suffice to accelerate the Sun itself to a very high speed, and let it drag all its planets with it. In order to exert the necessary thrust on the Sun, nuclear fusion reactions could be ignited locally in the Sun's material, causing the ejection of enormously high-speed jets. The necessary nuclear fusion can probably best be ignited through the use of ultra-fast particles being shot at the Sun." Now, I know what you're thinking, this is bats, and to be honest it probably is. But as a way of thinking, this idea has a major advantage. Imagine you were tasked with getting humans to colonise a nearby star. To make things easy, say our first jaunt will be to an exoplanet around Proxima Centauri. We've found one called Proxima Centauri b, which is the closest exoplanet we've discovered so far. Even that very close one is 4.25 light years away. So in order to head to it, you need to stock up your spaceship, fuel for that journey, the ability to produce food and drink for whatever population you send, or maybe you put your population into some form of stasis to stop that. So you better develop that technology as well. You have to keep the craft running and those inside it alive and around for the time it takes to get to that planet. Minimum 4.25 years on the speed of light. Realistically, you're not going to be travelling anywhere near the speed of light. Put a timescale of centuries at best on that journey. And as you can guess, this is not an easy thing to build a spacecraft for. Building something with that amount of fuel, that amount of resources. And remember, you're not just sending a couple of people here. If you want to actually colonise that planet, you're going to be sending an enormous amount. It's incredibly difficult. But Zwicky's idea proposes an interesting solution. Because you plan on moving the Sun, you no longer need to build a craft for this large journey. There's no need to put enormous amounts of resources into keeping humans alive on your craft, because you're still sat on Earth enjoying the ride. No need to work out how to keep humans alive for that long journey, or survive multiple generations in space yet. No need to work out what resources you need to colonise so far in advance either. You can also use the fact that you would be getting closer to the planet, so when you actually do want to make the jump and send a few humans over, you'll have a much better idea of the planet's about because you're much closer and you can see it better. And the way to do it, the only slight problem, is it involves firing missiles into the Sun. So it's not something you can do more than once if you get it wrong, because if you get it wrong, it's our Sun. But if you could do it, it's cool. And there's something that I love about these esoteric ideas of space colonisation. At first this seems silly, and to be honest, especially when humans still are only on their first steps to exploring the cosmos, it is. But it has a clever logic to it. I think we'll end up, if humans are to colonise other star systems, going the traditional route first until we've got a few stars of populations. But maybe once we start colonising, this could be the way to go. The ability to move through space using stars and planets rather than building our own fuel source is certainly an interesting idea.